Okay, I'm Michael Cassidy, and we're going to do a 3-blade on the side, more likely scissor cut on top, unless it ends up being something short on top. Just as we go on with it, if Michael wants it shorter, we'll go shorter with it. But probably a 3 and a scissor cut. And might be a 3 and then maybe a 2 right at the very bottom. Probably a 4, going up to a 5, which is an inch blade. I consider an inch blade up on the sides, and then a scissor cut on top. More than likely, what we'll do with it. Probably a square hairline. Hope you can maybe get something out of this haircut today. Thank you. I'm gonna start out with just getting some of it out of the way. Come in here with just get some of this stuff out of the way. Let's see what we're doing. I got new blades on these clippers, but I think I got to get me a brand new pair. It's still a little bit slow. As you cut with the new blades, the new clippers, they're just so much better. About to start with. I could cut this haircut with this clipper, this comb right here, but I can't do it the same justice that I can with a guard, because it's going to be more precise than I can do. I can cut it with my scissors, my fingers and scissors, pretty good. There's no way I can do the job that I can do with that guard. That's something you need to keep in mind when you cut. Where can you get your best job at? And the best look is probably going to be with the guard, because it's perfectly smooth. So what I'm doing here, I'm putting a 3/4 guard right now. Just getting this out of the way to start with. So number 4 guard, I consider 3/4 inch. Get that out of the way to start with. Kind of coming up through here, you know, and stopping here. Don't get up in here. Get up in a kind of a dangerous area if you get it cut too short. Could stand up with you. Some of the haircuts, it calls for going on short of that. But here we're going to come in and get some of this out. Just take it out. Somebody said, oh, no, you're supposed to pin his hair up. Wait a minute, the man don't want to get his hair pinned up when he comes to the barbershop. That looks a little weird looking. So just the way I like cutting is this way. Yeah, no. I'm showing you what I do. Somebody else may do it different. They're right too. But I'm just showing you the way I cut the haircuts, and what I've learned over the years. Hope you get a little something out of it. Let's go down to probably about a 3/4 inch. Go down a little shorter here. Get down, please, sir. Kind of come right in here. Maybe that right at the bottom. Notice what I'm doing when I come up behind fading this in. I just kind of let my wrist come off the scalp here, off the bottom here. Let my wrist do the movements. Have an imaginary line. This actually fades in. You can kind of actually feel where it fades in at when you look. When you come up and off the head, you're actually fading into this. Let's fall down to something a little bit shorter now. I've got the blade opened up a little bit too, which gives it a little bit more length. I can actually close down as I get ready to want to fade this in a little more. So I'm going to just come in here and just kind of take this out a little bit. The reason for this, we don't want to get this too bulky when we get ready to do our hairline. If you got it bolted up, you want to actually have that faded in, thinner. Where it won't bulk up on your hairline. You got to actually have that crisp look on your hairline. I'm not finishing here, I'm just kind of stopping here right now, maybe go to the other side and work a little bit on the sides, both sides. What that's going to do is actually get this out of the way. See, I can come in here with this comb and make this haircut look good with this, but I feel like I need to come here with my guard and get more of a perfected look. Exact length of the back there. What I want to do is go right to the other side and make sure it's the same. Get a little water, get some of this out of the way on top. Just kind of get some of this out of the way to start with. Because I'm going to cut after I dry this hair, I'm going to cut it a little bit when I get the sweet spot with the haircut. I'm looking for the spot where it actually lays good. And I've seen people haircuts that did it 2 or 3 days later that look real rough looking. They say, well, it's got to get over the shock of being cut. No, it's not the shock of being cut. It's that you got to cut. You almost got to dry that hair, finish it up wet, dry, to be able to finish that haircut. And you won't have them rough looking edges. You got to actually go ahead and dry that haircut out, finish it up, go back over it, make sure it blends good. Use your comb over clipper technique, scissor over clipper, and fading it up in the back with your clippers, with your guards, fading it right in. And a true way to cut this side over here is to come down at this angle. If you notice your barber textbook, it says to come through here on this side. When we first started, we didn't know anything about that years and years ago. See, I'm not trying to finish it, I'm trying to get it where I can work with it. Thank you, buddy.
Black, ain't no.
Black's fine, black's fine. Get that out of the way a little bit to work with it, because the finished haircut's come in the last 5 minutes. I'm just getting this down where I can kind of get a feel of what it's got to look like. Most of these haircuts I do on YouTube always take more than 20 minutes. People say, oh, you got to finish it in 20 minutes, but you can't do your best work in 20 minutes most of the time. Unless it's just a buzz haircut or something. I could have used a razor on him on top. It's not really that thick. I'm not really going to worry about that, because I had to, you noticed the one I did on the guy named Michael yesterday, day before yesterday, I think it was. I think it was June the 5th I did. What's yesterday? June the 5th? Yeah. I think it was the 5th. June the 5th yesterday I cut it. So this would be like the 6th today, wouldn't it? Yeah, today would be the 6th. So that'd be the way to keep up with it, because if somebody looks at this thing 20 years from now, they won't know about yesterday. But 2013, June the 6th, I cut the haircut, and the guy was going to get a job at Inner Bearing. Boy, that thing turned out good. I was real pleased with it. I feel sure he'll get the job maybe as far as the haircut goes. They called him in for an interview. I reckon they think something of him, so he might get that job. Just don't tell them you ain't been able to get along with nobody where you work at. If you do that, you ain't never going to work. I know one girl, she gets the job over and over and over. She can get one every time. She has no trouble getting jobs. going to dry this haircut now, and I'm going to finish it up. Standard old brush back gentleman's cut. 5, 4, 3, 2. One side, silver cut on top. I notice most times you shave around an inch or 3/4 through here, you're okay. The 5 blade or the 4 blade through here, most of them you're going to be okay through this area. Then you can scissor cut and bend into that. One thing about it, if you put something out there for people to look at, maybe to learn by, maybe young people starting out, whatever, that knowledge is not lost. It was tickling me the other day. Somebody said, my computer was on blink for 3 or 4 days. Said, I hope Mr. Mike ain't quit putting up videos. I saw one of the comments they made. Everyone wanted to think, and kind of tickled me. Called me Mr. 51 years old, I reckon, getting old. But they thought they was enjoying watching my videos. Made me feel good, you know. Yeah. They enjoyed it. What I like to do now when I get this haircut about finished is start back at the bottom and come back up. And then I'll finish the haircut this time. I've kind of roughed it in to start with. Get me a pattern. Let me see if we got this just right. That's close enough now to being finished with the guards. I can go back in and make sure everything blends with my clippers. I notice a lot of these places are having trouble cutting hair. I see some of the haircuts coming out of them. All I got to do is get on YouTube. You find out how to cut hair, you watch. You get around, you can see some good haircuts. A lot of good people aren't cutting hair. Learn how to cut hair pretty quick if you got a little talent to start with. I don't know why they're throwing out them kind of rough looking haircuts, which is a bunch of information there is out there now. The learning process is so easy to get a hold to. And they might not get a lot of education in the schools, the beauty schools, the barber schools. Might not get a lot of haircutting to do. But when you get out, you know, of course, it'll be more. But, when you get into workplace. See, if you learn this haircut here, you can do that. It's one haircut. You can translate it on any person's hair. Do it a different version, you know. Every one of them's a little different. See, when I come up through here like this, I can see if I got any edges. You see this here hanging out, so don't miss. I comb it back in a part in the middle, whatever you want to do. It's cut evenly all over. Let's work on the back now just a little bit. Slide up as tall as you can get. Mine just kind of neaten up as far as, yeah, there you go, right there. Okay. Now just bend your head down a little bit. Okay. Let's see what we can do with this back. I got to work in here and blend all this in to this, not through here. And work on this hairline a little bit. It's not completely finished in there, but I'm gonna come back to that. Almost want to do a faded hairline right there just because it's got that little tiny cowlick there. Okay. I'm going to use a 2 down here at the bottom just a little bit now. So we can do this. I'm going to come back up and blend every bit of this in after I get this bottom. As I get the bottom looking right, I can ease back up. I've always noticed if I start back here on the bottom and come back up, everything turns out good. So that's the way I finish it myself. Take a 1/16 blade. Kind of come in here and fade a little bit. Got the blade opened up a little bit too also. I'm gonna let it down a little bit. Open up a little bit. It's all in the wrist here on this fade. Let's go up to a 2.5. 3/8 blade. Make sure I'm calling out the right numbers. Fading it in. Let's go up to a 3 blade now. Open the blade up a little bit. Fade in right here. I said, you should have used that blade to start with. You should have cut these corners, but the thing about you didn't really know. You don't really know what you're going to do until you fill it out to get the length you want. It's hard to know for sure what you want unless you just do these haircuts. If you can cut this guy's haircut for 2 or 3 years just like this, I know exactly what to do, but just being not for sure what to do with it. You got to kind of fill it out as you do it. let's try the square look now. I think we're okay. Got it down to a fine edge. Let's go for the square look. People's crying out for the square look on the internet, I noticed. How you doing, man?
All right.
Just a little bit, I'm about finished.
All right.
Did you hit down a little more, please, sir? I've had some busy days since it got hot weather, I tell you. Been really busy lately. Of course, the more pride you take in your work, the more business you got. Fellow wrote me a message, you took entirely too long on that square hairline, and I was 21 thumbs up, no thumbs down, I think it was. And one guy bragging, saying how good it was, and that was the best one I did by far. And so everybody's got a different opinion. I mean, everybody's right to a certain extent, you know. Yeah, it's pretty peculiar about it. It's going out for the whole world to look at it. I mean, it's got to be right. Always notice a good looking square hairline when I see it too. You know, nice looking haircut. See somebody walking down the road, one of them, Walmart or something. You notice a nice square hairline. Okay. What you can always do after you push them down and do it, you can always do this now, and then look at it. Then you know more for sure how it's looking. If you got it thin enough at the bottom, you won't have any problem with it. It won't be bulking out over it. That's where I'm trying to stop at here. Pin your head down one more time. I got one lady I have her hair, she's double crown cowlick. Just wants to flatten down in those areas. If I take and get those thinning shears and go in thin, it just bulks out and spreads out nice and neat. Learn how to use your thinning shears, learn how to use your texturizers. That's going to help you in your haircut. And I went and saw a guy to show, he did what's called a feminine flat top. He also used thinning shears a lot on wavy hair. I came home and gave my uncle the best haircut I ever gave him after I watched that guy with his thinning shears. And so you do pick up certain things from people when you, because his hair really needed thinning, and I didn't really know that it needed thinning that much. Just being young, just starting out or whatever. You learn so much more as you go on. Anyway, but this lady's hair is twisted here. It just flattens down in those areas and lifts up. But when I go through it and keep thinning and texturizing it, it just bulks out full. Looks much better. And she's really had a lot of confidence on her hair because if you learn how to use those thinning shears, it'll help you. And your texturizer, point cutting, things like that, using your razor. That razor helps the hair just to fluff out and be soft looking on thick hair. You want to use it on thick hair. Don't go on real fine hair trying to do a razor cut. Because most of the time look like nothing much. Okay, bend your head down one more time, Mike. Just take a look around it just a little bit now. See how it's doing. Wish I had a little bit more light in this place than what I do. I'm gonna have to put a little better lighting in this room. Good old man's brush cut, gentleman's cut. Something easy to handle. Should last him a month and a half. Bend your head down a little bit, Mike. Okay. Nice square looking hairline. I'm well pleased with that. I tell you what, let me do one other thing there, Mike, and I'll let you go. Let me do it right here. Set it back up where I had it at. I'm gonna let y'all go here. Just hold on 1 second. You're going to be careful with your thinning shears around the parts, in this area and the parts. Back in here, you want to be careful. There's some areas in here we can do just a little something. That'll make a little difference right here. Not much, we don't do much. Right in here a little bit. Should help it just slightly. What's kind of bulky at. Do a little something there. Appreciate you letting me do it for you, Mike. Thanks so much.
Yeah.